The opinions expressed in this show are the views of the host and not necessarily that of WTRW, 94.3 The Talker, or the Bold Gold Media Group.
The following presentation is paid for by Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate, who is solely responsible for its content. Portions transcribed.
All Century 21 real estate offices are independently owned and operated.
Hi, I'm Jackie Ruddy, broker of Century 21 Jack Ruddy Real Estate. Welcome to the Real Estate Roundtable on 94.3 FM The Talker. I'm here with Pat Devaney, my husband, fellow realtor. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Very good, thank you. We have with us Bob Burns, owner of Ticked Off and Burns Fence, LLC. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for being here with us.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. We're here every Saturday at 11 a.m., Sunday at 11:30 a.m., where we talk real estate. We have a full-time real estate office with many exceptional realtors who've been listing, selling, and appraising real estate for over 50 years.
During the week, feel free to email us with any questions you have at questions@jruddy.com. That's questions@jruddy.com, or you can give us a call at 570-344-6724. And when you go to jruddy.com, click on the webcam tab and see what's going on at Dunmore Corners. Hopefully it's not snowing. Now you can check the weather and the traffic, and we get a lot of hits on that camera. Thousands of hits every month. Everybody's looking at it.
Yeah. View our listings, search the MLS listings, and listen to archive radio shows by going to mobile-friendly jruddy.com. That's jruddy.com. Also, look us up on social media. We're just about everywhere. Okay, Bob Burns, owner of Ticked Off and Burns Fence, LLC.
Yes.
Who are you and what do you do?
Well, we started Burns Fence 4 or 5 years ago. Been doing fence my whole life. Grew up on farms, horse farms, training horses, that kind of thing. Early on, I was in Jersey, so Jersey's like ground zero for ticks when we were growing up. And, moved over here. Ticks seemed to follow. I didn't bring them, I promise.
No.
But
did you bring them with you?
No, not at all. But we, working with horses, dealing with fences my whole life. We came into the area, and several years ago, had some fence guys pass away in the area. So we're going to start a fence company. So we did, and we've done very well. We have a very good following, very good reviews online. But one thing we ran into was people would call me from HOAs that did not allow fences. And they would say, what do I do? I have dogs and other animals and kids, and we're having a problem keeping them out of the woods, and they're getting ticks. They're getting bit. We're dealing with Lyme's disease. So what do we do? And I said, well, shock collars. And they were like, well, what about the kids? I was like, shock collars. No, don't give your kids shock collars, please.
Jackie's getting an idea. Yeah. She's looking at me smiling. Yep. Thanks a lot.
So, my family has had a very hard time with Lyme's disease. I had it for several years, and it's given me some long-term issues. My daughter, who was 2, contracted anaplasmosis from a tick bite. And for years, we had in and out of the hospital, severe issues. And she ended up with some slight kidney damage from it. And so, we're always thinking, well, what can we do? We spray chemicals. You hear about DEET, you hear about all these other things. And I don't want to spray that stuff. I don't want that around my kids. And so after doing some research, actually we were on vacation up in Maine, and I saw a guy that said all natural tick spraying. So I called him up. I said, what do you do? And he explained everything to me. I started to look into it more, got certified through the state, and said, we're going to start spraying for ticks and mosquitoes.
So you do all natural treatments?
All natural treatments. I will not spray chemicals.
All right, good, because chemicals can eradicate, but the residue and what it leaves behind. And
common sense should dictate that if you're concerned about the health of your family and you're trying to protect them from tick-borne illnesses, but you're going to spray chemicals that can harm your family, it seems counterproductive. Whereas spraying an all-natural product that's just as effective makes a lot more sense. The product we spray, it's a cedar oil based product. We get it out of a company from Connecticut, and it works. It kills them on contact, and it repels for usually up to 30 days, depending on how much rain we've had, that kind of thing. So,
okay, so you are based where? Where's your
Lake
location?
Ariel.
Okay, so where do you go? Do you do mostly in Wayne County, or do you?
With the fence work, we try to stick with like an hour to an hour and 15. That puts us up into New York, and it puts us down towards the Lehigh Valley. The ticks, we're willing to go a little bit further because we don't have to haul the heavy equipment like we do with the fencing. Especially if we can get into a development where we have several homes in a single development, it makes it a lot more easier, and we could keep the cost down if we have a lot of houses in the same vicinity that we can hit all at once.
I love the name of your company, Ticked Off. It's easy to remember.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so I think kudos to you for that. And it's not a franchise, right?
No, we are our own. We are our own business, our own company.
All right.
So, yeah.
Good. And it goes hand in hand, like you said. So the fence company and the tick control go hand in hand. Now, as I was preparing to come in here today, I was thinking, and I'm going to show my age, but when I was young and, out, it was a different world.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? So when I grew up, there was no internet and cell phones and those, well, I think we had Atari. Do you remember Atari?
Remember Atari? The first Nintendo system. I remember it all. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
But we didn't sit there for hours on end. But I would leave the house at 8 o'clock in the morning and not come back until dinner time, until my mother rang a bell. She used to ring a bell when she wanted to call us for dinner at 5:30, right? We didn't have any fences in the neighborhood. No. So you ran from yard to yard to yard. But I don't ever remember ticks being an issue.
So they've gotten way worse over the years. Because we have allowed, and especially in developments, allowed deer to live till they die and not hunt them because of the amount of homes. We feed them in these developments. And there's no natural threat to them. It allows for the spread of ticks like crazy. Up in Maine, they're dealing with a point that the ticks are actually affecting the moose population. So we're dealing with it all over the eastern seaboard, especially. It has gotten just way out of hand. And the only way to really protect you is either stay inside and don't have animals, which I don't think is realistic or healthy. Or we take the precautionary measures outside to protect our families.
They're in our neighborhood too.
Right. You got one.
Yeah, I got one too. You know what's in our neighborhood? Feral cats.
Yeah. Oh,
and people are feeding the cats, and the cats are everywhere. Oh, you're heartless. You don't want to feed the little kitty. The little kitty is spreading diseases.
Yep.
They're killing all the birds. There's no birds in my yard, so I sympathize with that 100%.
And it doesn't matter what lifestyle you come from, you can make poor decisions. So you have a lot of people moving into the area that are buying small lots that are making what I would call farmettes, small farms. They want to be self-reliant. Nothing wrong with that. But they also think that, I'm just going to let the vegetation grow. I want the earth to reclaim. Well, the issue with that is, we do brush hogging as well because we have to clear fields to put up fence. When I'm brush hogging and I've got grass that's 6, 8, 10, 12 inches tall, it is filled with rats. I can go through that field, and as I'm mowing, there's rats running everywhere. And they're usually field rats, a little bit different. But these rats are going to just spread disease like crazy. The ticks get on them, they just continue to reproduce, and then they get on the horse, they get on the goat, they get on the dog, they get on the kids, they get on whatever, and it just multiplies.
I clear fields too, where you're talking about. And whenever I clear the fields, I have my two hawk friends.
Yep.
who they come and they watch, and then they go, and it's like, remember Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom, where they would come down and you see the hawk come. They come down. It's like lunchtime because I'm kicking them all up.
Yep.
They're all, and then you see them running under
They're
the
scurrying
grass,
everywhere. Yeah.
Right, and those things are carrying them too.
Absolutely, and that's when you look at this. The whole tick thing, it's not just spraying. It's a whole concept to protect yourselves. So backyard.
So you're spraying the yard. You're not spraying the people.
Well, depends on how much you pay me. No, no.
I got good neighbors now, so I'm okay.
No, we spray the yards. We usually do the boundary. So take a typical backyard. You have a little tree line or brush line or what have you. We'll spray that, and usually our first time that we come out, we will also spray the yard. Usually after that, we just spray the perimeter. Unless you have a lot of critters coming through your yard. If you have bird feeders out, we're probably going to spray your yard because that brings in deer, that brings in bear, that brings in, and the ticks fall off of them into your yard. So if they're bedding in your yard overnight, that kind of thing, we will spray the yard pretty much every time we come out. Couple things about the backyard, though, that you can do. Do you have a stick pile? They're going to breed in that. You have a leaf pile? They're going to breed in that. Tires, mosquitoes are going to absolutely breed in that as well. Anything that can hold moisture. You won't even think about it, but a kid's swing set, that plastic seat, that'll hold water. And they'll breed, right? Mosquitoes especially will breed right in that. Also, overhanging branches, low-hanging branches, they need to be cleared off because that's where the ticks, are looking to grab onto you. And clearing all of that up makes a huge difference. Now, where the fence come in with this is you could put a fence up that keeps the animals from going, or your kids from going into the woods. And it also, especially in a small yard, deer need a really good reason to jump in a small enclosure. So even if you put a 4 or 5 foot fence, yes, they can clear that. But if there's not a really good reason, they don't like to be in an enclosure like that. So putting that up helps keep those animals out. The problem with fences, most people want something like a chain link fence or a box wire fence, those kinds of things. It's extremely important to keep those clear from vines. People love to let the vines grow up. It looks beautiful. But what happens is it traps moisture in there. It also allows the ticks to come up. That's where they hide in the shade. And you go anywhere near that fence, you're going to get a tick. So it can be a good thing and it can be a detriment if you're not keeping it clean and clear.
Sure. Well, we don't have deer in our yard.
No, we have lots of people feeding the cats on my block. that burns my butt.
Well, they will. They'll run through your yard chasing mice, and they'll drop the ticks in there.
And I'm heartless because I don't want to feed the little kitties.
Well, he just got into a Facebook exchange with somebody. Well, and now they all jumped on him.
I'm heartless and silly.
So whatever. But we do have skunk.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
They live under the neighbor's porch, the whole family. Mm-hmm. And then rabbits, little bunny rabbits, and they're so cute. And we go to one of the short points, and they're all over the place.
Everywhere.
They're on everybody's yards. I never saw so many bunny rabbits in my life, but they carry them too.
Absolutely. Any warm-blooded animal the tick will feed on. Mosquitoes. The product that we use does repel and kill mosquitoes at all stages of life. When the spray hits them on contact. Beyond that, once it dries, it acts as a repellent. The issue with mosquitoes is we could spray your perimeter for ticks, and it's most likely going to keep most of them out. Mosquitoes, on the other hand, your neighbor could have a pile of tires that they're breeding in, and they're just flying over into your yard. So they're a little bit more difficult to mitigate, to control. But the ticks are what we're most concerned about. The diseases they carry are just horrible. There's a research lab from East Stroudsburg University. And you can, if you get bit by a tick, you can send them.
Right, we had them on.
Oh, did you? Perfect. Yep. And they can test that and see what kind of diseases were in it. In 2024, they tested something like by 2024, something like 96,000 ticks in Pennsylvania, and a third of them were carrying some sort of disease. Now, that you say 96,000, that's a lot. That's actually
Nothing.
That's a pinhead compared to what is in just the northeast part of Pennsylvania. So, there's been some research that I've done that can have up to 50%, that tested ticks can be affected.
Right. I saw something, and it said they dragged a white sheet through.
It's a drag test, yeah.
Yeah, through where deer had bedded down, and the sheet was almost covered with them. There was like hundreds of ticks on the sheet.
Yep.
And it makes your skin crawl.
It does.
Makes my skin crawl.
And it makes you wonder, we all have pets or dogs, and they have different types of fur or hair. They can get in there, and how often, if you don't have a short-haired animal, you are not going to notice if they have ticks on them. So now you're wondering. Every time our kids come in from the backyard, we're not, like monkeys going through their head looking for ticks. So that
we're grooming their little kids.
Yeah. That it's being tracked in our homes. So if you're spraying chemicals and you're letting your dogs out into the yard and your kids out into the yard, they're getting it on there. The dogs are rolling in the grass because they feel good. The kids are playing. They're rolling with the dogs, or, they're petting the dogs. They're in the grass picking up their toys, all of this stuff. The chemicals are now on their hands. It's on their dogs. They're coming in. Let's be honest. Most of our kids don't wash their hands. They're grabbing that sandwich on the table, that apple on the table, and then they're eating it. And do you really want them ingesting that kind of stuff? I am not a doctor. I'm not a medical professional. I'm not a, CDC representative or an FDA representative. But we can look back at the history and the things that the FDA once approved. Sometimes now they don't approve them because they have found through further research it's not healthy.
It's harmful.
Right. Look at red dye 40. They're going to be outlawing that here pretty soon. And then you've got things like fluoride. Overseas, it's completely illegal. Here, it's
in your
legal.
drinking water.
Yeah. And so you look at these chemicals that we're spraying, and the FDA can say they're not cancer causing. Okay, but is it possible that they could be causing, other health issues?
Yeah, true. So there's a lot here. Bob Burns, owner of Ticked Off and Burns Fence LLC. How does someone get in touch with you, please?
You could call me at 570-352-8085. You can email us at burnsfencing@yahoo.com or tickedoffpa@yahoo.com. You can also check us out on our Facebook pages, Burns Fence LLC or Ticked Off LLC. You'll see we have a lot more photos and information and reviews on the Burns Fence. The Ticked Off is a newer page, but you could check us out on either one, and that's where you can find us. Yep.
Thank you, Bob. Pat.
Yes. Are you looking for a summer or early fall getaway? And there's no hidden fees at the Concord Suites. That's the Concord Suites in Avalon, New Jersey. It's modern suites. They feature a kitchen, a living room with a queen sofa bed, a full bathroom, a private bedroom with 2 queen beds. It's the perfect place for family getaways. It's got 2 pools, a restaurant on site. It's near downtown Avalon in Stone Harbor, and it's only 1 block from the beach. This is a prime spot with access to shopping, boardwalks, the amusement parks in Wildwood and Ocean City. Avalon is exit 13 on the Garden State Parkway. They're just 10 miles from Cape May and 30 miles from Atlantic City. You can enjoy golf courses, casinos, wineries, breweries, and distilleries. The Concord Suites has just undergone a multi-million-dollar renovation. It has the comforts of a condominium with the amenities of a hotel. Book now. They look forward to seeing you soon. And beginning in September, from September 2nd through the 26th, check in any Sunday or Monday, stay 3 nights, and get the 4th night free. That does not include weekends. So give them a call at 609-368-7800. That's 609-368-7800, or visit concordsuites.com and check it out. We've stayed there in the past. It's a nice place.
I'd like to welcome Renee Hauser. With nearly 2 decades of real estate experience, Renee Hauser has been a dedicated and accomplished realtor since January 13, 2005. And she's coming back home. She started her career with us. She's now back in our office, and she holds prestigious designations, including the ABR, that's the Accredited Buyer's Representative, Short Sale and Foreclosure Resource Certification. She's also a certified negotiation expert and at home with diversity. She has a certification for diversity. That showcases her commitment to excellence and adaptability in a dynamic market. Whether you're looking to buy, sell, or invest, Renee Hauser is the dedicated professional you can trust to turn your real estate goals into a reality. Reach out to her today for her experience and her unmatched service and expertise. 570-466-0531. That's Renee Hauser, 570-466-0531. Pat?
Yes, we have a 4-bedroom, 2-bath home with an in-law suite at 3526 Laurel Avenue in Moosic for $274,000. This 2,500 square foot home has hardwood floors under the carpet. It's got a large 2-car garage. The home sits on a 50 by 150 lot with taxes of only $2,200 a year. This home has great room sizes with plenty of closet and storage space. It also has a covered front porch and a large level. It's got a yard, nice yard that's fenced in the back there.
There you go. Yep.
So you can enjoy the outdoors. That's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath home with an in-law suite and a 2-car garage at 3526 Laurel Avenue in Moosic for $274,000. That's listed by Sam Shelter of our office.
Thank you, Pat. We're going to take a brief pause. Stay tuned to the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ready Real Estate after a short break. Are you ready to make your next move in the world of real estate? Look no further than Century 21 Jack Ready Real Estate, your trusted partner in buying and selling homes. If you're a homeowner looking to sell, Century 21 Jack Ready Real Estate will ensure you get the best possible price in today's competitive market. And if you're in the market to buy your dream home, Century 21 Jack Ready Real Estate will help you find the perfect place to call your own.
Congratulations.
We've adopted the popular saying, an educated consumer is our best customer. That's why since 2010, we've hosted the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ready Real Estate Saturdays at 11 a.m., Sundays at 11:30 a.m. on 94.3 The Talker. Visit jready.com. That's JRUDDY.com or call 570-344-6724. Century 21 Jack Ready Real Estate, where dreams find their address. Back in the studio with more Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ready Real Estate on 94.3 FM The Talker. We are here today with Bob Burns, owner of Ticked Off and Burns Fence LLC. I'm Jackie Ruddy, broker, and Pat Devaney's also here, fellow realtor, husband.
I'm doing good. I'm here listening, waiting.
Yes, we like Bob. Bob's doing great here. Bob, before the break, you were talking about some of the diseases that can happen because of a tick bite. There's a lot of different ailments
nasty.
Out there.
It's not like a little cold with these things.
There was a guy I worked with. He had it, and he didn't know he had it, and he went and he was sick for a long time. And it took him a long time taking a whole regimen of drugs to get over it. Richie.
Right.
It was a mess.
But we often think of Lyme disease, but there's other diseases that can happen.
Right.
So Lyme disease is the most prevalent and common that you're going to hear about. And a lot of people will say, the big question is, well, where did it come from? Where did Lyme come from? So now you have two schools of thought. You have the scientific community that says it's always been around. They tested it in a Neanderthal, a frozen Neanderthal. They found it in him.
And the other people say it came from Connecticut.
It came from Plum Island. Yes, that's where they say. I can neither confirm nor deny either one, but either way, it's here. It was first tested in the United States in Lyme, Connecticut. That's where it got its name from. So we're stuck with Lyme's disease. The hard part, we're just going to look at Lyme's disease right now. The hard part about Lyme's disease is it's called the great mimicker or great masker because it can present itself as a multitude of different diseases. That's why it's so misdiagnosed. There was an article that I read, and I can't, it was a long time ago, that they were testing Alzheimer's patients, and they were finding that over 70% at that point in time of Alzheimer's patients had Lyme's disease. Go figure. That can't just be a coincidence, you know? So you're seeing these things. Now, my personal experience with it was a years long process, like you were saying, and it was horribly painful. The migraines were beyond bearable. It felt like somebody injected sand into your knees. You just could not live life. And it made you feel certain ways. It affects the way you think. There was a point in time, I'm a very proud man, and I'm a very proud driver. I'm a good driver. And I had to sit and ask my wife to drive, which was a very humbling experience.
That would never happen.
Well, I would say the
household.
same thing, but I could not focus. There was a point in time where I literally could not take in everything that was going on around me. Now I went and got to doctors. I was misdiagnosed. They said I had fibromyalgia. They said I had this. They said I had that. They, going down the list. Thankfully, my family practitioner was a common sense guy. And he was like, just because they were saying, you don't have Lyme's disease. You don't have Lyme's disease. Yes, I do. I was bit. I have the ring. What most people don't know is if you get tested, it is not very accurate. Most of the tests that are used in the hospitals are not very, so you can get false negatives, you can get false positives. So you may, if they test you before the disease has time to completely go through your entire system, it'll come back as a negative, even though you have it. So there's a lot of false negatives out there. So then they say, well, so if you don't have it, it must be something else, and they're going to treat you for something else when the whole underlying problem is Lyme's disease. And it causes, the health detriments are so broad from just Lyme's disease alone. What it can cause heart issues, brain issues. You would be surprised. Now, just think about this for a second. Your kid gets bit. You don't think anything of it, but all of a sudden, he's showing signs where he can't focus. He's showing signs where he's got bad memory. He's kind of acting weird, acting funny, acting lethargic, or acting even hyperactive, just acting in weird ways. What are we going to do? Oh, he's ADD. Let's give him medication when we're not treating the right thing. We don't think about a lot of these issues, and we can easily misdiagnose them. When my daughter was sick, and she had the anaplasmosis, they refused, even though she had a tick bite, they refused to test her. They would not test her for any tick-borne. They said that because I thought it was Lyme's disease, I didn't know a lot about other diseases. They refused to test because, it doesn't cause renal problems or UTIs or these issues. And it was like 3 years in and out of the hospital. What on earth? So you have so many different diseases, and if you're not getting tested properly, I had to go a natural route, and that is what ended up helping me. But you have Lyme's disease, babesiosis, anaplasmosis, ehrlichiosis, RMSF, the alpha-gal syndrome. Now, the alpha-gal syndrome, Rocky Mountain fever, the alpha-gal syndrome wasn't always in PA, and it's just come here. And that causes a red meat allergy. So there's a secretion from the tick, and your body goes to fight that off. But that same secretion is in red meat. So when you ingest red meat, your body attacks it, and you have horrible, almost deathly allergic reactions to the alpha-gal syndrome. So
that's scary.
The diseases are nasty. If you go through it, or you know somebody who goes through it, prevention is so worth the investment, because once you experience this, you will never, ever want to go through it again. And the prevention is so worth the investment.
Bob Burns, owner of Ticked Off and Burns Fence LLC. We're going to have you back next week because there's a lot more to talk about in terms of ticks and what you do and your all-natural control methods. How does someone get in touch with you, please?
570-352-8085. Email addresses are burnsfencing@yahoo.com, tickedoffpa@yahoo.com, or go on Facebook. We've got a Ticked Off LLC page and a Burns Fence LLC page.
Tune in next Saturday at 11 a.m., Sunday at 11:30 a.m. for more of the Real Estate Roundtable with Century 21 Jack Ready Real Estate on 94.3 The Talker.